First question I'd like to ask is, how you been finding Cardiff, the city?
I mean, listen, the city so far is awesome. I mean, they've been very endearing to me. They brought me in with open arms. The city itself is awesome. I haven't managed to explore around too much, but I got the chance to. I live right by the bay, like the I think it's Key Bay they call it. Like I read it as Quay Bay, but it's you know what, so far, like, you know what, except for the rain, but if you could put up with a little bit of precipitation, it's not too bad. I've been loving it since I got here.
Brilliant. And with the actual rink itself and the team, how have you been finding that since you joined?
I mean, listen, every game I've been here has been a sellout. So I've played two home games, two away games, and then I had the Continental Cup. We had a whole section that was filled out at the Continental Cup. It was pretty awesome because you know what, like the first game where we had against Angers, it was a full house, but we had a whole section that was right behind their goalie that was completely full. And just to see how much support there was that traveled all that way, it was something that was pretty awesome. I mean, being able to play over here has been awesome. I mean, every game the rink is completely jam packed, uh, and I think that they've kind of taken to my style of play, so I love it a lot.
And I was going to say about that, you've only been here 2, 3 weeks, and the fact that the fans have just embraced you must
I,
be
I
really,
mean,
really good.
look, I have a bit of a throwback style, right? So, like, if you look through the history of the teams that they've had at Cardiff, obviously there's a guy like Mark Louis that's been here that I think has been a staple to that style of play. But obviously someone like me that comes in and it just shakes things up a little bit and it brings a little new couple spices to the mix. It's been something that I've really enjoyed since I've gotten here.
And that's the thing with your style of play. I went on YouTube to look at some footage, and without going too far down the list, it goes straight to the fighting.
Yeah, I mean, look, the game's also changed a bit too. I mean, I think that the biggest asset that I bring is I can do a bit of both, right? Obviously my first couple years pro, they were spent in the American League. It was a different game then. But in the past, 4 or 5 years, I have about 80 goals or whatever it is, and then being able to mix that with what I do on the physical side has been something that I think has been a good addition.
With you only being here for a short while, have you found the actual hockey here at the Elite League?
I mean, look, there's so much less turnaround in this league, which is what I've realized, right? So, first of all, I think that the UK style is it mimics a little bit more of the North American style of play. Obviously on a bigger ice, but as far as we have, I think maybe 7 guys or 6, 7 guys that are from the UK, and then the rest of it is North American. So as far as the style is, I think that it's at par or maybe even above par on what the East Coast is, just based on the fact that in the East Coast there's so much roster overturn, right? Every year, maybe a team at the top maybe goes through like 40 players, but a team at the bottom might go through 70. With call ups, injuries, schedule, and the beginning of the season in the East Coast is an extremely strong league. And don't get me wrong, I've been there for years. I only have respect for it, but the style of play and the roster overturn, I think, has a really big factor on the game itself. And over here, I think that especially the top tier teams, they're right at par or maybe even above par on these. I've only played, yeah, since I've been here. I've only played. I played Guildford twice, Sheffield, Manchester, and then the Continental Cup, which was obviously a good tournament, but a European tournament, right? So the style of play once we got over there was a little bit different.
And then obviously tomorrow you've got Belfast. Took a 4-0 lead against Guildford yesterday. How's that setting up for you this week, that preparation after the Conti Cup?
I mean, listen, I think the guys came back with a little bit of a fire lit under their butt. Um, you know, as we finished with bronze, but we were 1 goal away or 2 goals away from gold. If we end up beating Nietzsche in that third game, and I think that everyone's realized since I've been here or since the time that I've gotten here, that you know what, every game really matters. And obviously tomorrow, I mean, I'm not privy with the rivalry that Cardiff and Belfast has, but at the end of the day, you know what, my game really doesn't change too much, and I plan on going out tomorrow and doing the exact same thing that I do on every weekend.
Stuff with the top two for the last couple of years, so should be a really exciting game for you to enjoy.
It should be something fun to enjoy. I mean, but look, like if I look through my whole schedule, there's not a game that's not important, right? So I think the best way to tackle it, I think like we had a really strong week of practice where you know what, everyone came out every day and you know it gave their best effort and we're battling, and you know that's the best way you can prepare to go into a game is to do you know the same things every week, you know, without question. So.
Got bronze at the Conti Cup. I mean, what do you think this team can achieve come end of the season, league and playoffs?
I mean, look, it's kind of cliche to say. I thought that we had the best team at that Continental Cup, with you know, an exception of a little bit of a hiccup in the first period of the third game, and you know, obviously we ran into a hot goalie the first game of the year, or the first game of the tournament. It's not. It's what you got to realize is that you know what, every second of every game is important, and you know, for us going forward, you know, it's to elevate you know the level of play to what we want it to be in every game, whether it's you know against a top team or it's against you know a team that's kind of at the bottom of the standings. It really doesn't make too much of a difference. You know, we should be going out there and you know doing our style of play, and you know what, Coach Dupont's been doing a great job of instilling that in us, and the most important thing is you know to go out there and you know set the bar at what we want it to be.
Do you set personal goals for yourself in going into the games all season, or you just play by
I
ear?
mean, look, I used to when I was younger. I mean, you know, so much more of it now is about you know elevating the level of play of the guys around me. You know, in my opinion, you know, team success leads to my own personal success. I see myself as kind of like a role player. Obviously, you know, I have kind of my things set, but I'm only really looking at it through the lens of winning and losing, right? So, I mean, and that's something I think that comes with maturity. I'm 30 years old. You know, the way I play is to try to make other guys feel a little bit bigger around me, you know, to give them space, and then you know, whatever personal success comes along with that is a good addition. But you know, I'm going into games and I'm thinking to myself like, what can I do to elevate the people around me to be better?
And going back to the career that you've had, I mean, I'd just like to ask, how did you get started in hockey?
You know, 3 years old. It's it was kind of run down through my family. You know, me and my younger brothers, we all ended up being hockey players as well. It was something that was kind of instilled in us early, and then you know, as far as you know, the continuation of it, it was something that we did as a collective group. You know, it's every day. You know, me and my brothers would work hard and you know push each other forward. And I started when I was 3, and I started my professional career 10 years ago, and you know, I haven't looked back since.
And how have you found it from when you were developing and playing hockey to where you've got now? What experiences have you had that's grown you as a player?
Well, you know what? It's funny. I had a conversation about this earlier with a couple guys on the team, and you know, as you get older, you know, you forget about the slights that happen against you. You know, and you know, when you're in a small pool of how long you've been playing, you know, you seem to sit there and think like, you know, you can remember every little bad thing that happened, and you know what? As years have gone on, all I remember are the lessons that I learned from those actions. You know, and you know, the little moments seem to disappear, and you know, the big picture comes into play, and you know, it goes back to, you know, when I signed my NHL deals, it was from winning. And I think that the most success that you can achieve is by being the best at what your role is. You know, everyone always has maybe an expectation of what they would like to be, and you know, what they wish they could be. But the ultimate goal is to win. And when you win, there's always success and opportunities that come along with that. So, you know, for me, winning is the first and foremost thing.
That, I mean, your career that you've had, the teams that you've travelled to, the fact that you've done coaching as well, and obviously this is the second because you had Slovakia as well that you went to. I mean, how has that developed you with the coaching side and experiences that you've had?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, uh, it's not so much about what you want things to be; it's about how you get the best out of the people around you. Um, Slovakia was a really good opportunity for me. Obviously, it was something that didn't work out. And you know what? In hockey, you have to be able to deal with the bounces of the up and downs, right? So, sometimes you have the best intention and the worst result ends up happening. And unfortunately, like Slovakia was a situation like that. But you know what? I ended up going right back to. Initially, I went back to Nottingham, and then I ended up in Slovakia, and then I ended up back in Wichita. But it's how you deal with the disappointments. Um, Sports are a thing where it's at the pinnacle of performance, and at the end of the day, you don't always have the choice of like how people view you and what the outcome is. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet, and you know what, put your work boots back on and rebuild and find a way to rebound. So, obviously, dealing with the ups and downs of sports is something that I think comes with maturity, especially in hockey, where it's a game that's very subjective, right? You're not running a route like in football, and it's not based on how many catches like per throws have been at you. It's a sport where you have to come in and someone's vision of you might be different of what the vision you have of yourself, and you know what, you have to be able to adjust to that and make the best choices that lead you to success. So
And you did mention it, the Nottingham situation that you were quite close to being black and gold. Obviously, that was a missed opportunity. Weren't able to do it for the reasons. But how does it feel that you're actually in this league now and you get to play them in a couple of weeks' time?
well, and you know what, I'll give a big thank you to Guillaume Doucette, who brought me over there last year. He welcomed me in with open arms. Obviously, the situation that I had with my transfer card was unfortunate for both of us, but I'm super happy to be in the league now. Obviously, I feel like fate kind of did me a good justice and brought me to Cardiff. And it's one of those things where now my goal is to continue a winning tradition that we have over here in Cardiff, and lead us in the right direction.
Preparation like game wise to get set up and ready?
Uh, Look, a lot of my game is based off of old school hockey. It's throw my headphones in, and it's an intimidation game at the end of the day. I'm going out there, and in my mind, listen, I used to fight when my brothers playing basketball for free outside my house. So, um, to be able to strap up my skates and have a 6,000 fans cheer me on and whatever. The game and life itself are two separate things, and it's easy for me to get ready and decide like, hey, you know what, I'm coming out here to play. There's people here to watch, and there's really no hard feelings afterwards. But while the game's going on, all I care about is winning.
Do you have any pre-game rituals or?
Uh, I mean, not too much because I don't want to get too harped on it. But you know what, it really depends on what the other team is like, and if I think that there's someone on the other team that tickles my belly button a little bit, and um, it depends from game to game. But to be honest with you, for the longest time now, it's just kind of been the same approach, which is get myself as ready as I can. I kind of remove myself from my normal joking and comedy routine to go and take things a little more seriously, and just get myself as ready for the game as I can.
With the setup of being a coach previously, I mean, how have you found working with DuPont since you came in?
I mean, look, I know Brody through his playing career, and I'll be honest. Look, like he got his NHL game, and do what? Brody Dupont is someone that has a pretty illustrious career. Maybe not by the standards of a Sidney Crosby or someone that you look at on the tip top of the skills of hockey, but you know what? He's played in Europe. He was a top scorer in the East Coast. He played in the American League, and I have a mutual respect for him. And at the end of the day, you know what? I'm here to play for him, not be an addition. And I'm looking at everything that I'm doing while I'm here as as kind of like an internship. Like He's 5 years older than me. It's someone that I can learn from. And you know what? If I piece the most amount of information I can from the people that I've worked with, it'll only lead to more personal success for me. So, as far as I'm concerned right now, I think he's doing an amazing job. I'm working my hardest and, the best way I can to make his job easier. And that's about all I can be asked to do.
And looking at obviously how you and the team have got together since you've joined, is that they've kind of embraced you in the locker room already?
You know what? I hope so. I feel like things have, I don't know what the locker room was like before I joined here. But you know what? Since I've gotten there, I feel like, everyone's kind of embraced each other maybe a little bit more. And the most I can do is hopefully give them the feeling that they're an inch or two taller to be able to go out there and do what they like to do.
What hockey means to you as an individual, what would you say?
Probably means everything. Everything that I do revolves around hockey. And at the end of the day, it's the one thing that I find of true passion in my life. Now, the ventures and the stuff that I have outside of it are ways to facilitate me being able to continue playing and continue doing the thing that I love as I'm getting older, right? Like, in hockey, you never know what's going to happen around the next corner. And I've felt that squeeze before, where you don't know what the next thing's going to be, especially, when COVID happened and all these things. And you know what? Having maturity, made me realize to maybe, extend my reach a little bit and, grow my spider web. And, but as far as hockey's concerned, that's my first and foremost goal. It's the thing that I enjoy the most. I enjoy playing. I enjoy the coaching aspect. I enjoy, just about everything that comes with the game. The game gave me everything that I have, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the one thing I want to give back to. But one thing comes with the other, right? Everything's kind of intertwined. Obviously, the network I made was through hockey, and I think that a lot of guys, there's a lot of part of hockey that goes into your ego, right? And I think that if you're able to put that a little bit aside, you know what, you can still, obviously, for me it was NHL or nothing, and the dream at one point was something that became unachievable, and when that happened, instead of loving the game, you become resentful of it. And I wanted to find the best way to be able to sit there and be like, look, like, here in Cardiff, there's 1,000 fans that want to come and have your autograph after the game, and I have my name's on my stick, and you know what, 10-year-old me would be smiling at the brim, like jumping through hoops to think that that's what I could have, right? And it's kind of keeping that young magic alive that you have in you that brought me into the other ventures a little bit, so that I can continue doing what I really love to do.
They've embraced you. Must be really good from a personal aspect.
Look, from a personal aspect, it's the most I could ask for, right? I think that I do a selfless job when I'm playing, and if people are cognizant of that, and they sit there and they embrace it, then I'm doing my job right. So that's the most I could ask for. I'm hoping that whatever I bring to the table is the most the team could end up getting from me, which is ultimately winning. And as a collaboration, I hope it's something that brings us to the top. I mean, look, I've been through I went through the fire, right? So it's a question of you come at this point where it's like you want to continue doing what you love to do, and I feel like a lot of people at some point have to sacrifice it. And I'm kind of an all or nothing person, and at the end of the day, like I want to continue doing what I love to do and be able to support it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a certain level of desperation some people don't reach, but then at the same token, it's just one of those things.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that measurement that you've got just has to be what's best for you, and what, if you don't put anything into it, you're not going to get anything out of it.
No, listen, if it was easy, then everyone would do it.
Yeah.
I've got my coconut water and my water over there. I'm preparing for tomorrow. But look, it's also the UK, right? The game's trying to be built up over here right now. This is a building league, and that's why it's more North Americans than it is imports, right? So The second that starts to even itself out, then you'll know that the development system in the UK is something, and I'll be honest, like, there's a lot of the guys here, like that Mark Richardson, man, fucking hell of a cat. Hey, like Josh Batch, great guy. Ben Davies, great guy. Sam Duggan, great guy. Josh Waller, great hockey player.
We've got
Like, can skate, can stick handle. He's my line mate. Like, our goalie, great. Like, and here's the thing, like, the game over here is growing. And I might have forgotten guys too, but like, as you see it, as it goes through, like, the lineup, like, and I'm watching other teams and what they're like, what's impressive is seeing that the game over here is really starting to build itself up. And you know what, as it does, or as it will start to build itself even further, that's where you start to realize, like, what's going on over here is a great thing for the hockey in the UK.
And that's the thing is, for a time, I used to speak to people at work and they had no idea there was any hockey in this country.
No, that's it. No one knows, and some people back home still don't know.
It's strange because it's there, it's exciting, it's fun, and it's accessible.
But look, there's a lot of teams here where there's a dedicated fan base, which is the coolest part.
Yeah, that's
like
travel anywhere.
Like Cardiff is a place where I was always told, like, that's somewhere you want to be in this league. Here, Belfast, Sheffield. Now look, like, and it's great. Like, I have friends on most teams. Like, Guildford has Peter Cronella, Logan Fredericks, who played with me in Wichita, and then you have Manchester, where it's Stephen Johnson, Cameron Critchlow, and I know Nottingham has Gags, Alex Dubois, like, and it's nice to see that the game's growing over here.
And if it does, it continues to do. It's only going to get better, and the quality is going to get better as well.
Well, that's it. And here's the thing: the quality of the talent from the UK will start to grow too, because kids will come, be inspired by the game, and then they'll continue to progress in it. So I'm just glad to be a part of it for the time being.
And have you had opportunities? Yeah, I know you've only been here a couple of weeks, to help with the kids or anything that
I am on the 27th, but I think it's an adult program that I'm going on the ice with. One of them messaged me the other day, and I decided, I was like, you know what? I'll make a little practice plan for them and jump on the 27th of I think it's the 26th, or it's next Friday. So it's 10:15 at night, which I realized, I was like, damn, like,
that's
probably normally in bed.
Yeah.
To see people and then to make them grow in it is something that I'm excited about. So I'm happy.